Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 58b, top of the page. The words at the bottom of the previous Amud were Mamai Kamiflagi, Rabbi Eliezer Savar. With regard to what principle do Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva disagree? Rabbi Eliezer holds. And now we're on 58b. Aviv dumya de imo, ve'imo dumya de aviv. V'lo nishkachas la ela be'achva. The term his father should be interpreted in a way that is similar to the term his mother, and his mother should be interpreted in a way that is similar to his father. You find such an interpretation only with regard to sisterhood. In other words, his father is referring to his father's sister, and his mother is referring to his mother's sister. Rabbi Akiva mutav le'ok me ve'eshis aviv di'ikrai eras aviv la'apoke achot aviv de'shar aviv ikrai ervat aviv lo ikrai. And Rabbi Akiva holds that it is preferable to interpret the term his father as referring to his father's wife, who is referred to as his father's nakedness in the verse, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife. It is your father's nakedness," Leviticus 18, verse 8, to the exclusion of his father's sister, who is referred to as his father's kin. In the verse, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister," she is your father's kin, Leviticus 18:12, and who is not referred to as his father's nakedness. Tashima, come and hear a proof for the opinion of Rabbi Akiva from the verse, Vayikach Amram et Yocheved Dodato, my love Dodato minaim. The verse says in Exodus 6:20, and Amram took Yocheved, his aunt, as a wife. What, was she not his maternal aunt? Presumably Yocheved was the sister of Kohat, Amram's father, from both Kohat's parents, and not from his father alone. Evidently, a descendant of Noah may marry his father's sister. Lo, dodato minav. The Gemara rejects this proof. No, she was his paternal aunt, Kohath's half-sister. She was not Kohath's sister from his mother's side. She was not forbidden to Amram. Tashima, come and hear a proof of the opinion of Eliezer from what Abraham said to Abimelech regarding to Sarah. V'gam amna achoti bat avihi ach lo bat imi miklal de bata emasura. And moreover, she is my sister. This is what Abraham said to Abimelech with regard to Sarah. And moreover, she is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And so she became my wife. Genesis 20:12, by inference, the daughter of the mother of a descendant of Noah is forbidden to him. V'tizbrachot have, bat achiv have. Kevan hachihu lo shna b'rav, lo shna b'naim sharia. Ela hasam hachikamar la kurba da'achot it li b'hada me'abba v'lo me'ima. The Gemara rejects this proof, but how can you understand that Sarah was Abraham's sister? She was his brother's daughter. By tradition, it is known that Sarah was Haran's daughter, Iscah. And since that was so, there is no difference whether they were paternal relatives, and there is no difference whether they were maternal relatives. In any event, she was permitted to him, even according to the halach of Jews. Rather, this is what Abraham was saying to Abimelech there. She was related to me like a sister, as the daughter of my brother is like a sister, and our relationship is from the side of my father, and not from the side of my mother. Tashima mipnei ma lo nasa adam et bito kedei sheyisakayin esachoto. Shenehemar ki amarti olam chesedi bane halav haki asira. Come and hear a proof from a Braita. For what reason did Adam not marry his daughter? So that Cain would marry his sister, and they would procreate immediately, as it is stated. For I have said, the world shall be built on kindness. Psalms 89 verse 3. This verse alludes to the fact that at the beginning of the world's existence it was permitted for men to marry their sisters, which was later forbidden in the verse, and if a man shall take his sister, it is a shameful thing when it says chesed. Leviticus 20:17. The Gemara infers that if it had not been so, if God had not specifically permitted Cain to marry his sister, she would have been forbidden to him. This is difficult, according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who deems it permitted for a Gentile to marry his sister. The Gemara rejects this because once it was permitted for Cain to marry his sister, it was permitted for all descendants of Noah to do so, and it was forbidden only to Jews. Amar Rav Huna goy mutar b'bitoi im tamer ibnei malu nasaz as bitoi kedei sheisa kainas achoisa mishum al chesed divane. Rav Huna says a Gentile is permitted to marry his daughter, and if you say, for what reason did Adam not marry his daughter? It was so that Cain would marry his sister, because it is stated the world shall be built on kindness. Amar Rav Huna goy aser b'bito tida shelo nasa adam es bito v'lo hi hasam haynu tama kedei sheisa kainas achoisa mishum te'olam chesed yimane. And there are those who say that Rav Huna did not say this. Rather, Rav Huna says a Gentile is prohibited from marrying his daughter. Know that this is the halacha, as Adam did not marry his daughter. The Gemara rejects this statement, but that is not so. As this is the reason Adam did not marry his daughter, so that Cain would marry his sister, because it is stated the world shall be built on kindness. Amar Rav Chizda says, Even mutar b'imoi u'mutar b'bito yatzim miklal goy v'klal Yisrael lo ba. Rav Chizda says a Canaanite slave is permitted to marry his mother, and he is permitted to marry his daughter. This is because he has left the category of the Gentile by immersing in a ritual bath for the purpose of becoming a slave to a Jew, and consequently all his previous family relationships are disregarded according to halacha. But he has not entered the category of a Jew, as evidenced by the fact that he is not obligated to observe all the mitzvot of male Jews. Therefore, the decree of the sages prohibiting the maternal relatives of converts does not apply to him. Kiyas Amar Rabbi Balazar Amar Rabbi Chanina Ben Noach. I'm talking about Ben Noach, and it's on page Noach, page 58. Ben Noach Shiachid Shirchas Eliavdoi Ubalea Ne'agalea. When Ardimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said that Rabbi Elazar says that Rabbi Chanina says, in the case of a descendant of Noah who designated a maidservant as a mate for his slave, and then he himself engaged in intercourse with her, he is executed for adultery on her account. Me'emas Amar Rav Nachman midikrao la Ravita de Palanya. Me'emas atarto Amar Rav Huna mishi para Rosha Bashuk. The Gemara asks, from when is she considered a slave's mate? Nachman says, from the time that she is called so-and-so's girl. The Gemara asks, from when is she released from her relationship with the slave? Rav Huna says, from the time that she exposes her head in the marketplace, since married women would cover their hair, even among Gentiles. By exposing her hair, she proves that she no longer wishes to remain with him. Amar Rabbi Elazar Amar Rabbi Chanina Ben Noach Sheba Al Ishto Shelo Kedarka Chayav Shneimar V'Davak Velo Shelo Kedarka. Rabbi Elazar says that Rabbi Chanina says a descendant of Noah who engaged in intercourse with his wife in an atypical manner is liable for engaging in forbidden sexual intercourse, as it is stated, and he shall cleave to his wife, Genesis 2:24, an expression that indicates natural intercourse, but not intercourse in an atypical manner. Amar Rava mi ika mi didi Israel v'chayev v'nachrim v'chayev. Rava says, is there any action for which a Jew is not deemed liable, but a Gentile is deemed liable for performing it? A Jew is not liable for engaging in unusual intercourse with his wife. El Amar Rava ben Noach שבא לאשת חברה שלו כדאו כפת. My time באשתו ולא באשת חברה ודבק ולא שלא כדרכו. Rather, Rava says that the verse is to be understood as follows: the descendant of Noah who engages in intercourse with the wife of another man in an unusual manner is exempt. What is the reason? The verse states, he shall cleave to his wife, but not to the wife of another. With regard to this prohibition, the verse states, and shall cleave, indicating the normal intercourse and not the unusual intercourse. Amar v'chanina goy shehikas Yisrael chayav misa shnemar vayifen ko v'ko yarki en ish vayachet hamitzri. Okay. This again, I'm just reading opinions here. Rabbi Chanina says a Gentile who struck a Jew is liable to receive the death penalty, as it is stated when Moses saw an Egyptian striking a Hebrew, and he turned this way and that way, and when he saw there was no man, he struck the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Exodus 2:12. Rabbi Chanina soter la shel Yisrael כאילו soter לא של שכינה, שנאמר, אוקיי, שאדם ילה קודש. And Rabbi Chanina says, one who slaps the cheek of a Jew is considered as though he slapped the cheek of the divine presence, as it is stated. It is a snare for a man to rashly say, holy. Proverbs 20:25. The verse is interpreted homiletically to mean one who strikes a Jew is considered as though he hurt the cheek of the Holy One. Magbia avdo Shabbat ziman. אמר יש לקיש המגביה ידו על חברו על פי שלו אף על פי שלו היכהו נקרא רשע, שנאמר רשע למה תכה תרעך, למה הכית, לא נאמר אלא למה תכה אף על פי שלו היכהו נקרא רשע. The Gemara uses a mnemonic for the upcoming events of Reish Lakish. Raises his slave Shabbat. Reish Lakish says, one who raises his hand to strike another, even if he ultimately does not strike him, he is called wicked, as it is stated. And two men of the Hebrews were struggling with each other, and he said to the wicked one, why should you strike your friend? Exodus 2:13. The phrase, why do you strike, is not stated, but rather, why should you strike, indicating that one who raises his hand to another, even if he ultimately did not strike him, he is called wicked. Amar Ziri Rabbi Chanina Nikra Choite Shnemar Im Lo Lekach B'Chazaka V'Chsiv V'Tichatas Na'arim G'Dor Rabbi Yomi. Rav Ziri says that Rabbi Chanina says one who raises his hand to strike another is called a sinner, as it stated, and the priest's lad would come and would say to him, but you shall give now, and if not, I will take it by force. 1 Samuel 2:15-16. And it's written with regard to this behavior, and the sin of the youth was very great. 1 Samuel 2:17. Rav Huna Amar, one second here, holding by. Rav Huna Amar Tikat Seitz Yado, Shneimar, Uzraya Rama Tishaber, Rav Huna Ketz Yada. Rav Huna says his hand should be cut off, as it is stated, and the high arm shall be broken. Job 38:20-15. If one habitually lifts his arm to strike others, it is better that it be broken. The Gemara relates that Rav Huna cut off the hand of a person who would habitually hit others. Wow. Rabbi Elazar Omer, Ein lo tikana ela kavura, shenemar v'ish zroa lo haaretz. Rabbi Elazar says, such a violent person has no remedy but burial, as is stated, and as a mighty man, who has the earth. Job 22, verse 8. The expression of Ish Zeroah literally means a man of the arm, and the verse is interpreted homiletically to mean that one who habitually strikes others deserves to be buried. V'amar Rabbi Elazar lo nitna karka ela levalid zeroyah shenever ish zeroyah lo yoretz. And Rabbi Elazar states a different interpretation of that verse. The land is given only to mighty men who can protect themselves from all enemies, as it is stated, and as a mighty man who has the earth. Yehoshua Lakish, my dichtiv over admatois valechem. Im ose adam atzmo ke'eved le'adama yizba lechem. Ve'im lav lo yizba lechem. And in connection with that statement, the Gemara notes, Reish Lakish says, what is the meaning of that which is written? One who works his land shall have plenty of bread, Proverbs 12:11. If a person makes himself like a slave to the land, devoting his efforts to it, he will have plenty of bread. But if not, he will not have plenty of bread. And Reish Lakish says, a Gentile who observes Shabbat is liable to receive the death penalty, as it is stated, and day and night shall not cease, which literally means a day and a night. That's Genesis 8:23, which literally means, and day and night they shall not rest. This is interpreted homiletically to mean that the descendants of Noah may not take a day of rest. And the Master said, 57a, that their prohibition is their death penalty. In other words, the punishment for any prohibition with regard to descendants of Noah's execution. Ravina says, if a descendant of Noah observes a day of rest on any day of the week, even one not set aside for religious worship, for example, on a Monday, he's liable. The Gemara challenges this, but let the Tana count this prohibition among the 7 Noachide mitzvot. The Gemara explains, when the Tana counts the 7 mitzvot, he counts only those that require one to sit and refrain from action, meaning those include a prohibition against performing a certain action. He does not count mitzvot that require one to arise and take action.